Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the Breakdown Automotive. Today we're filming with the 2018 Toyota RAV4 SC. Before we jump into the video, I just want to say if you enjoy automotive content, go ahead and subscribe to the Breakdown Automotive, and don't forget to like the video to show us some love and to let us know that you want more videos like this. But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the overview of the 2018 Toyota RAV4 SE. The first thing I want to point out about the 2018 model, especially this one, is that before taxes and everything is added onto the price, the starting price for this one is almost $32,000 for a Toyota RAV4, which a few years ago started in the low 20s. This one is at $32,000, and I can't figure out why. Yes, it is a nice car. It is a reliable car. It has a lot of features that most cars don't have, but $32,000. Why? It's actually due to something in the car market where pretty much anyone can get a car loan. So car companies are putting options in cars that really aren't necessary in order to justify higher prices. Now, most people who have this car aren't going to use most of the options it has, but because anyone can get a car loan, $32,000. So while I do think it's overpriced, it is what it is, and it's actually fair priced when you consider everything else on the market in its category. For now though, let's go ahead and jump more into the overview of what I like, what I don't like, and some of the cool features that I found about the car. Starting with the wheels. Now, one of the things I actually really like about this car is the wheels, and that's surprising because if you remember the RAV4 of yesteryear, I'll have a picture of it right here. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't sporty, it wasn't that good of a car, but with this redesign, it's really pretty. The sharper lines of this car are actually one of my favorite parts about it. I've always loved the way the new RAV4 looked. Another interesting feature about the 2018 RAV4 SC all-wheel drive is the fact that you can actually eat dinner right here. What is that? For now though, that's pretty much it about the exterior. Let's go ahead and hop in to the interior. One of the things I found interesting about the 2018 model is that there is no easy entry. It still requires the key. It's not necessarily a big deal, but it is interesting for a 2018 model. Once you've cocooned yourself inside the RAV4, you will see the rather interesting interior. It's not bad by no means, and in fact, the leather is really pretty, and I really appreciate the red stitching for the contrast. In fact, under some lights, it looks like it's red and a bit of blue stitching above it. I really love the stitching in this car. However, some things I don't like is the quality of the materials used. For example, these buttons just feel very cheap. I mean, unbelievably cheap. In fact, you need to test drive this car just to understand how cheap some of the materials actually feel. And quite frankly, Toyota, I think that if you're going to charge $32,000 for a RAV4, you might as well make it at least have some higher quality buttons. Because to be fair, that is what you were using most of the time. On top of that though, you have Toyota's standard transmission gear selector. There's really not been any change in the past few years, minus the design of the handle itself, which looks pretty nice, but to be fair, still very cheap. You also have this actually really nice wood grain material. It's very pretty. And then you have a cup holder up front and a square one in the back, which I don't know what the deal is with these square cup holders, but if you saw my 2018 Jeep Rubicon JL video, you would know that I'm not necessarily fond of the square cup holder. On top of that, you have the cheapest feeling handbrake I've ever felt. I drove that 2013 Fiat 500 a few weeks ago, and the handbrake in that felt better than this. To be fair, it didn't even have a handbrake. Anyway, moving on to the gauge cluster, let's go ahead and turn the car on. There's no push button start available in this one for $32,000, but it is an optional extra. A very interesting thing to note for $32,000, but let's go ahead and turn it on. So the little engine jumps up really quickly, and as you can see, you actually have a nice media display right here in the center that will show you some stuff such as your settings, where you can control park distance control, and as well as lane departure assist. On top of that, you can show your messages, your lane departure, music, and as well as some vehicle information. On top of that, the dials in this car actually look very nice. They do look far from cheap, which is surprising considering everything else in the car does feel very cheap. But you also have some very interesting air vents that I actually really like. It gives a touch of utilitarian use to the RAV4, which, if we're honest, the RAV4 isn't necessarily the most utilitarian thing in the world, but it's for people with active lifestyles, as they like to market it. Now, moving into the infotainment system, it's not the most advanced in the world. In fact, it doesn't even come close to the advanced systems that's used in Hondas and many other vehicles, such as the Uconnect system, but it's here nonetheless, so let's go over it. So you have audio, which allows you to select a source, so let's just say we'll go to XM, and then the radio in this car is actually pretty decent. It's not going to blow you away, but to be fair, it's not necessarily the most powerful audio system in the world, but it gets the job done pretty well. And then you have your apps, such as your audio, phone, messages, some eco information that will show you your average speed, your elapsed time for the trip, and as well as the range. Moving back to apps, you have setup traffic, which is actually a feature I found really interesting. I really like this feature, and I'm glad it's something that they're putting in cars now. I don't know how accurate it is, but I really do like this feature. It's something that I could see being extremely useful in the future, and it's a great way for car manufacturers to react to this solution that Waze has come up with. On top of that, you have weather, which is another really cool feature, something we've seen a lot of in the Uconnect system. So we'll just check the current weather. So as of a few minutes ago, it was 73 degrees and sunny, but you can also see the 3-day forecast and the 6 to 12 hours. This one is set for North Carolina, which is not a place we are currently. But moving back, that is your apps page. You also have the home page, which will show you information from your phone as well as what you're listening to. This is actually a lot like BMW's iDrive system, where it has the main screen over here and your audio shown over here. Over to the side, you just have the seek, skip, and track buttons, as well as a play pause button. Moving on down, the air conditioning system is actually pretty basic. It's also bulged out in a way that looks a little weird and blocks you from being able to see everything down here, such as your eco mode, sport mode, seat warmers, and your auxiliary and USB input. One thing I will give the RAV4, it has a ton of storage, and I really like that about the car. As you can see, you have the center console here that has some more storage, and if we can open up the other side, you can see you have some more storage. So this car actually does have a lot of storage. You have this cubby right here, another place you can eat lunch or dinner. And then you have your glove box, obviously, as well as some cubbies here and inside the doors as well. That is one thing I will give Toyota. They have so much more storage than other vehicles. I think up front you have about a combination of about 4 cup holders. But overall, this is a pretty good car. It's not necessarily the highest quality, but it is a really good car, and I would highly recommend it for anyone who's looking for a crossover or someone who's looking to buy their kid their first car. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and end up the video here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more automotive content like this. Be sure to check out the other videos on our channel, and we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.